since joining John Moores, you've been very involved with lots of different research projects. So what would you say is, so 2 questions, we'll start with one, then we'll go on to the other. So what is kind of, would you say, the most impactful or important or fun, if anything, piece of research you've been involved in at John Moores? And then moving on from that, like, what are you involved in at the minute? Like, what kind of things are you working on?
Okay, so the most impactful, I mean, so I would say it's being in drug discovery. So this is something I somehow, carried on from my previous post with University of Manchester. Because, yes, independently of all the things you can do with drug discovery, you know that when you are working on that topic, you know that eventually a few of those chemical compounds you're working with might become an actual drug, and then you can potentially, cure something, save lives and things like that. But it's just to me the all the exciting about that. And don't get me wrong, obviously there is this impact and all that. Is the aspect that you have a lot of data, okay, and data with all the issues. So data that you have problems with how to represent the chemical compounds, okay. So what is the best way to represent the chemical compounds? You have problems with that. So you have a data set, could be like, an essay, okay.
Yeah.
So then you have different data set, quite small, but they are related somehow.
Yeah.
Okay, because they are, attacking the same protein, for instance, in the body, or and then that opens the door for a lot of things you can do with machine learning. Okay, so all the things like transfer learning, multitask learning. So issues with learning data representation, for instance, this kind of. So there is a lot of things you can do there. So then I would say that the peak of all this work happened while I was here in John Moores. That we published that in PNAS. That you always say all the letters, no?
In the acronym.
Penis, yeah.
Penis.
The Penis Journal.
What journal's that?
PNAS. Yeah. If you say it, the Penis Journal.
The Penis. Where you published Penis.
Yeah. So
excuse me.
Yeah. So there is always a lot of jokes with that. But anyway, so the PNAS is one of the journals with very high reputation. And then we published the whole thing with, we call that transformational machine learning. The idea was, how to process when you have multiple data sets, many of them, that they do things, but they are similar somehow, but you cannot put them together in one data set. And how you deal with all of this, okay? So I like that, because then it's somehow, this is how we are. So we, in the way we have envisioned machine learning, for instance, is the typical thing is that you have a task or you have a problem, okay? And then you collect data. So you have a data set, and then based on the data set, you learn a model, okay? So,
but in the real world, as you say, we get data from.
But then exactly. So then the problem is that in the real, this is not like that. So for instance, when the typical example is that if you wanted to learn how to dance, for instance, you don't start from scratch. You already know how to move your legs. You
collected stuff.
You know how to walk. You need this kind of thing. So you transfer that learning that you already have with walking and all of that into the aspect of learning how to dance. But in machine learning, we
start from scratch.
Treat every single problem as something completely independent. Okay. This is not like that anymore. So there is a lot of work on that. So,
well, isn't a lot of the work being done now? It's just advancing already published, like architectures, like and then training it to.
Yeah, exactly. So now it's becoming finally the norm. So working with transfer learning. So Obviously there is a lot of things to say on that, and generative models and all of that. A lot of them are pre-trained models that then you can tune for your particular task. So this is a form of transfer learning. Okay, so then going back to the aspect of that piece of research I felt so proud of that was with that transformational machine learning, because it's a full branch in machine learning that.
And had that not been done before in drug discovery?
No. And it could be applied to any domain. Yeah. So it's just we applied to that in drug discovery.
Because that was the application.
So potentially you can do that. For instance, one of the problems, for instance, we have in healthcare, is always a problem is that the data is specific to the center. Okay.
Yeah.
And it could be the center, could be if you think in the structure of NHS here in the UK, so it could be the hospital, but it could be the commission, it could be the region. So there are many things that. So for instance, Wirral, we always say about the Wirral that the Wirral is like a small UK, so you have different things there. It's completely different from Cheshire. For instance.
Right, wow.
So then with this kind of transformational machine learning, in theory, you could learn models for a specific center and then seeing ways of combining all of this into this kind
like
of...
a national model.
Yeah. But they are specific to the center.
So you take the results, essentially, or the learnings from all the regions, put it into one national model that can then be...
Yeah, but because the other aspect is to put everything together, that this is what we typically say in statistics, okay, to improve generalization. But generalization is a trap, actually, because in generalization, yes, your model will do well, okay, but then cases that are less representative, they don't do well in the model.
Yeah, so say, for example, if you had a model very specific to Cheshire, where there was a very specific but small group of people that the model was able to say, it may look like overfitting, but it was just fitting to this smaller group, wouldn't be picked up on the national level because the generalizability had been increased.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
Never thought of it
that's the issue. So if you think, because this is always this is the big thing. We say, oh yes, we need to generalize well. So the model is not generalizing well, and so
it's
on.
Contextual, essentially.
But exactly. So depending on what you're doing. So for instance, if you are seeing things at the level of population or at the level of less granular things. So for instance, you're saying, okay, what is the trend in, for instance, alcohol consumption, for instance, in Cheshire? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's you're not interested in the level of individuals. So it's just trends. So that in that sense, generalization works very well. But when you are interested in specific cases, okay, so then it's problematic because
it's lost, basically.
It's lost on that. So this is the kind of things that we need to be careful. And that actually is the aspect that has taken me to the next thing. So the second part of your question that was, okay, what are the things that we are now? So we are pretty much into the aspect of personalization, okay? And then in that, so how you achieve personalization? So a model that can predict, so yes, when you have a model and you say, you put your data in the model, and the model will predict something, but if it is a general model, so yes, it will say, what is the risk, for instance, for you on developing a particular medical condition in 5 years?
Yeah.
Yes, but this is
based on the population.
Yeah, it will be a stratified risk prediction. Okay. Yes, because you are tall or because you are
where you live, age, where you're from, income.
Then you are at risk of this. But you want but this is the stratum that you belong. But you want to know you specifically what is going to happen to you. Okay.
Yeah.
So then we are working hard on that. So we recently were awarded 2 European projects. There is one of them that we are coordinators, okay, on that project. So it's Target. And the idea with that project is that we are developing digital twins. So basically, this is a concept that it's been in manufacturing and mechanical engineering, all of that for many years. The idea is, okay, if you want to build a machine, so let's build that machine in the computer. You test all the things with the machine in the computer, all the forces, everything. And then you test many things. You see, okay, it's going to work. Okay, now let's build that. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. So then why we cannot do that the same with humans, or with patients? Okay, so then the idea with this is that we create digital copies of individuals, okay, in the computer. And then with that digital copy, you can do whatever you want, okay? So then if that digital copy dies because the treatment exactly is not adequate, then it's in a computer, it's not the real person. Okay?
Yeah,
you can
I
test
haven't actually died.
Yes.
Shit, we forgot to give them drugs to the digital copy. We give it to actually Sam instead.
The digital copy's all happy and Sam's just dead.
So this project is massive. So the European Union is putting 10 million euros on that.
Big money.
Companies like Siemens is part of the project.
They do a lot of development for machines in hospitals, don't they, Siemens? Is that right?
Yeah, but then they also do, obviously software, they do a lot of things.
I get, so this is just a general question about the project. It sounds really interesting. I get like the general patterns, and like if I found out where you're from, your height, your past history, I'll make a good guess about how long. But as you say, it's a general guess. It's based on these general measures. How do you get the info then on like something so granular? How do I find everything?
The gold standard is to develop a mechanistic model. So literally, you write the differential equations and that's it. Okay. So that's the gold standard.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, you can write differential equations for modeling fluids, to modeling basic things.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you want to model a person, and even this project is not modeling the whole person. It's just modeling. It's modeling heart, brain,
main organs,
and then the neuroskeletal system. Okay. So then. This is the mechanistic, but we acknowledge that it's not enough because you cannot consider all the aspects. So, for instance, social aspects. So, how, for instance, this model is influenced by aspects like commuting time, okay? What you have for breakfast. Because if you want to have a digital copy of...
You need to know everything.
You need to know everything.
Yeah. Do they work night shifts?
Yeah, so exactly. So, all these kind of things, it needs to be lifestyle, everything needs to be there. So, then what we are doing is... So we take as the baseline a mechanistic model. So basically we say, let's do what we can do with this mechanistic model, and then we wrap this model with machine learning. Okay. Now in machine learning as a statistics has the problem that is trapped with the what the data can tell you.
Yeah.
If it's not in the data, the model is not going to learn that. So how can we move away from that? So then for that, we generate data. So we use generative AI. Okay. So then with that, you can see other views of the individual. Okay. And then with that, you can find these links between different nodes in the, you can see that individuals, they will become a graph. Okay. With things interconnected.
Yeah.
You have as the baseline your mechanistic model, and then on top of that you have all this graph that is learned using machine learning. Okay, and then the idea is that so with that is because it's not only in terms of space but also in terms of time. So the idea is that you can say, okay, this is you today, but what is going to happen to you in
10 years,
10 years, 2 days? Okay, we can move in time things. Okay.
Sick.
So that's the idea with the whole thing. Yeah. So with my colleague, with Sandra. Okay. So we designed
Sandra.
The whole thing. I remember spending many nights just literally on paper writing things, writing equations, putting
I
things.
remember seeing the application for that, and it was about that.
Like the Bible.
Honestly,
And then,
I was like, wow.
there was, I mean, obviously, this is we feel really, really proud with that project. So, and particularly because with this kind of project that we really, really sat together and started to, I mean, literally on paper, and then taking risk on things. Okay, so because there are a lot of things that we are saying here that they are already, so they are not there yet. So
There's no evidence, yeah.
no, so we need to design something that really, really, really could work and persuade, other people, companies like Siemens.
That this also could work.
This is something that could work. This hospitals. So bringing together clinicians, they could, they say, okay, this is something that I see the point of this, and I can follow that. I can believe that this is achievable, and so on and so on and so on.